Do you consider yourself to be deeply empathetic? If you do, then you definitely want to stick around and listen to the conversation that we're going to have today with Rachel. Thank you, Rachel, for being here.
You are so welcome. I am glad to be here. I love talking about all things empaths and sensitive people. So, yeah, thanks for having me.
I am going to interview Rachel Hudson, who is a certified life coach, as well as a yoga and meditation teacher and a Reiki master. She's going to share with us some tips and techniques for how to have a daily meditative practice. And my name is Mandi Gardner. I'm the founder of Holistic Evolution Shala. I am a trauma informed Ashtanga yoga teacher, as well as a DBT skills coach. I teach women who are recovering from trauma how to stay calm so that they can overcome addiction and build supportive relationships. Rachel, can you tell us a little bit about your background and what really led you to helping others?
Wow. So, as far as being highly sensitive and empathic, I was okay. I was the kid in kindergarten who cried every single day except for
Mm.
one day. Most people are like, "Oh, is it the last day of school?" And I'm like, "Nope, it was the first day of school," because I thought kindergarten was one day. And then I was like so shocked that I had to go back. I was so sensitive. I was overwhelmed, and this is in the 70s. So nobody, I don't think anybody really cared. They're like, you're going to kindergarten, you're doing the thing. I was overwhelmed with everything at such a young age. And I was always told I was too sensitive all the way up until into adulthood and regular jobs. I just felt everything and I didn't have the words and I didn't know that I just thought there was something wrong with me.
I can relate to that.
Yeah. So, how far back are we going?
No, that's perfect. That's wonderful.
So, my background, I know we've got a yoga thing in common, but I started doing yoga in 1990. I think it was 3 or 4. I had a knee injury and I had a VHS tape of Patricia Walden and Rodney Yee. And I was like, I'm going to get my knee healed. And I was like, what is this? This is amazing. I felt my brain felt a little bit calmer. I felt like I was able to manage emotions. Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so much for sharing. So, talking about meditation, most of us know that meditation can be such a powerful tool for people who are highly sensitive to external stimuli. So, what are some practical techniques that highly sensitive people or empaths can use to calm and center our minds?
So, meditation techniques, I feel like I have a whole library of them, but I'll start very basic with I like to think of this as meditation. If you're really sensitive, I know there's a lot of us out there. We feel like we're pulled in a bazillion different directions. I like to think of meditation as one of my anchors that's going to ground me back into the present moment. So it keeps me from like future tripping and then going into the past. But that's what we do as humans, our human brains.
Yeah.
So techniques, I know everybody on the planet's probably heard of the box breathing,
Hmm.
but I want to just say that you can do it a couple of different ways. So think of this as one of your anchors. You always have your breath. You don't need anything special. I call it the 16-second breathing. And it's an inhale for 4, holding for 4, exhale for 4, and then hold that out for 4. Now, I like to anchor this to something like standing in line at the supermarket, or if I'm at a long red light, it's my cue to breathe. Also, if I catch myself just picking up my phone because I'm uncomfortable in a situation, I'm like, nope, this is your time to go with the 16 seconds. And I would encourage anybody to not just stop at 16 seconds. Really, we've all probably got a timer on our phone or our watch. It's very calming. Another really helpful, and this is like you can do it anywhere, nobody would even know you're doing it. The quiet continuous breathing, also known as infinity breathing. And it's the infinity symbol or a figure 8. And on the inhale, at the top of the infinity symbol, you're going to just inhale at the top, and then you're just going to draw back down, and then you're going to exhale, and then go back up and go back
Lovely.
down. And it's really calming. And another one, setting a timer for a minute on your phone or your watch and watching your breath and paying attention to the space between the inhale and the exhale. That's helped me tremendously. One more and a bonus. One more is, it doesn't have a lot to do with breathing, but it is just the basic 5 senses. So what I really want to drive home is use what you already have. Like, you don't need to go out and buy a bunch of stuff or sign up for a bunch of apps, which I also love. In the moment, you have your 5 senses. So wherever you are right now, you can, I just like to scan the body. What am I hearing? I can hear the air conditioner going on in the background. And what am I seeing? What am I smelling? Tasting, maybe
That helps to
touching.
bring you back to the present moment,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And then
If you're getting emotionally
yeah,
heightened, that's a great one to
and
come back
really
to your
just bringing
senses.
it to keep you from, I like to use the word future tripping, because that's what we do. We're like, I'm worried about all these things that are going to happen, but bringing it back in. And if you have a place where your body gets a little bit staticky, like for me, it's usually right in the top of my chest, lower neck. I'll usually touch that part of the body. And then at the end of the day, this is very interesting. And y'all, this is not a power walk. This is a walking meditation. So just whether it's 2 mailboxes down from your house and back, or if you're going just for like maybe a 30-minute stroll, this is definitely something that anybody can do using the 5 senses. Now, there's a special time of day early in the morning, and I know not a lot of people are up for that. So I'll focus on the end of the day, that kind of magical time of day where the sun's about to go down and the light has changed colors outside. So there's a different smell, there's a different texture going on outside. The humidity's different. So you can use your 5 senses as you're doing just a basic walking meditation. You can count your steps. So anything that's going to anchor you into the present moment. I just want to drive home that it doesn't have to be complicated. It's
Right.
accessible to everybody.
Yes, it absolutely is. Thank you
Yeah.
for that. The one thing I wanted to ask is, do you ever catch yourself holding your breath? Because I know I do. Like, when I'm stressed out or nervous or thinking about something, I find myself just like gasping for air because I was
Yeah.
holding my breath, right? And
Yes.
so those are the moments that I recognize that, okay, that's when I'm going to start my little breathing exercise, like that counted box breathing to bring me back to my body. Was that something that you can relate?
I love this story because I can giggle at it now, but about 15 years ago, I was in a sales job and I loved it because it was restaurant sales and I used to work the restaurant industry, but I was really stressed out. I had gone to the doctor and she just looked at me and she said, "You're just hardwired for anxiety. Here's a pill." And I believed her. And then I was like, wait a second. I believed this person who I thought was in charge of my health. I did that for about 6 months and I'm like, what am I doing? I have all the tools. So now I have to, I catch myself. I don't think I'm hardwired for anxiety. I think we all have anxious situations. And we also, as a reminder to everybody, we also have this tool. And it's just like you said, you just notice, like I used to tell my yoga students, are your shoulders acting as earrings right now? Let's try to pull that down for a little while. And really, instead of breathing up into the top of the throat, which is really shallow, can we fill up the lungs very slowly? That pranayama breathing, it's good for the lungs, good for the respiratory system, and it's good to calm your nervous system down. So yeah, I still catch myself. I did it yesterday. My dogs found a mouse in the backyard. And of course, I flipped out. And then I was like, okay, it's a mouse. You can get it, you can deal with it. And you can also breathe. It's not an emergency. A lot of
Right.
us walk around with everything's an emergency, right?
Right.
So
But I think the important thing to really drive home is that we always have our breath to turn to when we're in those moments where we're noticing that we're either anxious or freaking out, overboard about something, and coming back to the breath, coming back to the senses to really tap into that present moment, to
really
calm our.
like physically taking a couple of steps back. Is this a real emergency?
Mm.
No, this is just this thing that happened. My meditation teacher that I've trained with since 2017, he always said stress is how we respond when our needs are not met. And I want to add to that, when our perceived needs are not met. Like, how many times do we freak out because something isn't immediate? That's not
Mhm.
our needs, our basic needs. A lot of us, it's taken care of. But it's stress is how we respond when our perceived needs are not met. Like, I'm impatient because people are taking too long in front of me at the store, or I'm in traffic. Traffic's not going away, right? It's how we're
Mhm.
gonna
Mhm.
respond. That's not our we need to get home, but also we know that's the number one thing, traffic and like weather, that we freak out about. And it's also the thing that we cannot control. We can maneuver, we can go back inside if it's raining, but it's also still gonna rain. And so
Right, right.
it's just sometimes it's our thoughts about it and
Yeah,
how
our
we
perspective.
overreact, or there's this emotional contagion.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
You can reach me at rachelkhudson.com. Your website is once again.
It's holisticevolutionshala.com. Perfect. Will
Thank
do.
you so
Oh,
much,
thank
and
you, Rachel.
thank you.